Well, good morning, kids. It's I, your old buddy, Grandpa Peter Coyote, and our little wonder dog Angel, coming to you here not from Crestone, Colorado, which, by the way, is in the opposite end of the earth from Tibet, as legend has it anyway. Crestone, I mean. But me and Angel and the wonder dog hanging out in the sleeper cab of our truck here in Anthony, Texas, real near El Paso, waiting for the daylight to come so we can go and get ourselves another load and hit the road, you know. Been a little confusion in the past couple of weeks. Things don't seem to be working as well in this world as they once did. Been a lot of anger and frustration. You know, it's been a crazy 2 weeks, especially the last week, man. There's been a lot of purification going on in my life. I hope there is in yours too, or at least you recognize it as such. Because a lot of it comes from your angry side, and you know, a lot of us have been really pissed off this week, and there are those who don't even think anger is a healthy emotion to inhabit, that it's not a part of spirituality. But I gotta tell you straight up, if you want to live in the light, you got to see what the darkness is. You got to understand the darkness, because it's the same energy, the same life as the light is. It's all God, it's all creation, it's all source. It all comes from the same place. It's just different applications, different perceptions of that. Goodness, we got a fly hanging around here this morning. That's all right. Look at him zapping through there. Gives it a interesting effect to our little video here. So in our last video we talked about pain, the base pain that inhabits all of us, the pain of separation from source, our feeling of a lack of connection with source, yet we still live in source. As amazing as that seems, light, dark, angry, sad, any other emotion we care to inhabit, that's all source. Yet we feel and perceive ourselves, or at least a part of ourselves, that angry and painful side, as separate from source. But we're bringing that all back together now. That's what we're here to inhabit. That's what we're here to do in this time, this age, this dispensation on earth. It's completion of long cycles that's been going on for millions of years. And our great experiment is about to come to its conclusion. Hey, Angel, did somebody make a funny noise out there? Huh? Boy, she's alert. I tell you, even when she's sleeping, she notices anything unusual. We should all be so alert. You know, pay attention to what's going on around us. Most of us have learned to turn off the earth, turn off what's happening around us, and just be in our own little cave inside of ourselves. It's silly, isn't it, Angel? Yes, it is. Look at her, man. She's just breathing life into this world. You got to say hello to Angel. Where are you, baby? Is that you? No, that ain't you. Where are you, Angel? I can't get her on this stupid camera. Shoot. Well, what we'll do is just pick it up and show you our little Angel. There she is, that little sweetheart. Just sitting there hanging out and just having the greatest time, aren't you, baby? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. She's just laying down and taking it easy and having a good time. What a sweetheart. We all should be so lucky as to be a spoiled little dog like that, I tell you. Alright, now we're back to the reality here. Uh-oh. Now we got to listen to that thing yell at me for a bit, so what we're going to do is just disconnect that thing so it'll shut up. There we go. Oh, how strange it is living in this world, I tell you. All of our little disconnections and reconnections and infections and, oh gee, the mechanical woes of the real world. And if you'll forgive me, I know it's considered evil these days, but I'm about to smoke a cigarette. You know, maybe we'll learn something about tobacco, its value in our life. That nothing that seems to be deadly is. That nothing that seems to bring you life does. It's all an illusion. But a mighty pleasant one, let me tell you. We really enjoy ourselves here, all this primitiveness, all these strange conditions we live in. And you know, tobacco's been designed not just to help ease our pain and give us a little comfort. It's a strange thing, the habit of smoking anything. But that's what it's here for, is to help us get by, get through, give us a means. And also a means to check out at the end of our completing of this little cycle we call life, if that's what we choose to do. It doesn't have to be deadly. The things you take into yourself aren't deadly. What's deadly is your attitude toward them. If you fear them, if you think they're going to kill you, they usually are. And if you think they're not, well, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, nothing can kill you. And like I told you in my last video, I've been through a lot of that life and death stuff, and I've had a lot thrown at me, you know, weapons from beings of darkness and poisons and stuff, you know. I mean, there's been a whole lot in my life, but this is what I've learned from it, at least part of what I've learned from it, is besides the sweetness of death, which is really a beautiful thing. And for a lot of people, it's the easy way out, because you go right back to living in paradise, you know, or at least most folks do. Some stay in the abject realities because they don't feel worthy. The pain has become so great inside. They feel that disconnected that when the light comes and says, come on home, they don't do it. They're afraid. So they need a little help. So there's a few of us around that when we encounter these things called ghosts, we help them along their way. When we encounter these things called demons, we do the same thing, because they're just lost souls that don't know their heart. But in order to be able to do that, you've got to have some understanding of your own heart, this pain, this reality we've lived in, what it's really craving. Of course, it magnifies the connection. It makes it seem, the lack of connection, it makes it seem worse than what it is. You know, because that's the effect of darkness, opposite of what light seems to be. Well, neither one of them are what they seem to be. Neither of them. Your spiritual leaders won't tell you this, because they have a habit of controlling you, and that's what they want to continue to do. I don't care if they're religions or New Agers or what. This is why I have a certain distaste for most all of them, you know. I find them as people rather pleasant beings. Some of them are just downright beautiful. But they have that element in them and they haven't dealt with yet, that does tend to take them over as they get into their spiritual practice, because they're not dealing with it. They're trying to move away from the darkness. Well, no one wants to indulge the more vile aspects of the darkness. That's insanity. No one wants to see wars and violence and all this craziness, the result of anger. Yet if we don't understand those things, if we don't go into them in a limited sort of way, in other words, from our enlightened side, approach the darkness with love and see what it's all about, if we don't do that, we ain't getting anywhere, because we're missing the foundation. You can't build a house without a foundation. You can't have a life without a foundation. can't live a life without a foundation. I know a few of you have tried it, and look how scattered and crazy you are. But you're just another aspect of the divine presence. Don't be hard on yourselves. Shoot. We all have our journey, and I don't care if you're a mafia godfather or Jesus Christ or Mother Mary. We all have our place of being, baby. And we all have our worthy aspects. And in fact, we're bringing out our nobility. The darker life you live, the more noble you are living in it. Not many understand that just yet. So let me repeat it, if I can. The more light you need, the darker you got to be. You got to go through the darkness. That's just the way it is. And people have looked at me as I've gone through my life, and I've scared the living shit out of a lot of them, I'll tell you, because I carry so much darkness. And because I will indulge it on occasion. You know, I go there. I want to know. I want to understand what it's all about. And that's what I'm doing in my life. And because I've been willing to do that, to go through the darkness as well as the light, each is equally painful to you, let me tell you. So if you're afraid of pain, you ain't getting anywhere. That's just a part of the process. Yet pain, you have to remember, is also an illusion. It's a myth. We're not separate from life. We're not separate from anything. But we perceive ourselves as such. And I'll tell you what, you know, all this journeying around inside of myself I've done, and checking up. God, I'm watching the daylight come through my windshield here. It's beautiful. I love this time of day. I hope you do too. It's awesome, man, to watch the daylight come to this earth. It's the renewal of the promise every day. We go through the darkness, the pleasantness, the calmness, the quietness of night, and all the insanity that goes with it, and come back into the daylight. A little at a time. It's a renewal. You see, and this is telling us about our life. This is what we do in our life. We go through our days, we go through our nights. We receive rewards from all of them. Mostly we try to sleep through the night because that seems to be the most pleasant thing. But, you know, most of us are also awake half of the night or more. You know, and there are those that are night people that sleep in the daytime, can't stand the daylight. But we're all leading to the same place where we no longer perceive light and darkness, positive and negative. Even male and female becomes less of a factor here, you see. This is the illusion that darkness lives in. It thinks it's found its presence separate from the Divine Mother. So it's created the female as the image of its worship. And keep sending it. Boy, that one didn't want to stay on. And keep sending us back there again and again to find our light. In other words, bringing the male and female together and trying to create something here. But for some reason, all that leads to is increased anxiety and frustration. Some beautiful moments of connection through screwing. Call it what you will. Make them love. But through that, some beautiful moments of connection, but almost immediately thereafter, confusion and pain arises again. Why is that? Because we're not getting what we're going there for. Neither one of us, male nor female. Again, we're exercising practices of illusion. We're not finding the end result. But let's take this little premise that says darkness is trying to find its light through the Mother, the Divine Mother, who is personified in each and every human female that lives. Let's just take that premise and go with it just a little ways, you know, and you'll see there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's just the way we've been programmed to approach it. You know, we come to it without an open heart. I tell you, no matter how many times you've tried or how open you are, there is still the presence inside that keeps you closed. I'm telling you, this is why it doesn't happen. This is why it doesn't work. Because we're in a different space with it. We can only go so far. Now, I got to tell you, the heart is the center of all presence, of all persons, of all beings, and all that lives. The heart is where we live, truthfully. We are the heart. And not just this thing pumping blood, but the love that creates, that puts the divine in all experience, all kinds of experience, that appreciates the darkness and the light, and loves every bit of it, and never lets it go. There is no separation or connection from that heart. The more we realize this, the better our screwing will be, until one day, instead of making babies, we truthfully begin to make love. And when we do this, that's the end of polarity. It's completed itself. We've gone a long journey with this male and female thing. Long time, millions of years. From some very enlightened places to some very dark places. The darkest being in recent times. You think we're out of the dark ages? Hell. We haven't even begun yet, but we're just about there. Just the same. Babies, I love you. I know a lot of you don't believe that yet because you can't understand. You're not quite there, but it's okay. Keep tuning in, keep listening to yourself, your heart. I'm just here to help matters along. You know, I'm just one of them. There's a lot of them here, but I'm just one of them. But I'm just like you, and I go through pretty dark experiences here too, as well as some pretty powerful light ones, and I love every minute of it. That's where I might differ from you somewhat, or at least a lot of you, because I've learned to love it. And even when I'm angry as hell and cussing somebody or something, you know, I still feel the presence of that love. I still feel the love in my words. I can laugh at myself as I'm yelling at someone. Baby, you need to experience this. It's good. It's not bad. It's awesome. You know, we go through life living in these polarities. We make all these boundaries and absolutes and stuff that separates us from one another, and we're not going to take this and we're not going to take that. Well, hell yeah, you got to give yourself some space and time to heal, of course. Yeah, but at the same time, just realize you're really practicing love, no matter what you're doing, even when you're pulling the trigger on somebody. Now that's a hard concept for people to understand, but when you get that one, you've pretty much got it all. So this morning, instead of helping you unravel, I probably am leaving you with more questions. But if you go through the questions, you find the answers, because the question is the answer. What is it that you're asking yourself right now? And there's the truth. It's in the question. The answer is the question. The lightness is the dark. The darkness is the light. And when we see this through remembrance of how it's been, we recreated not just our future but our past. We've brought ourselves together again with all that lives. And we live in the heart, the center of all beings, the center of all persons, the center of all life. And we've restructured every bit of it. We've ended the illusions because our experience with them is finished. We've learned our lessons, and we can go from there. And then expand, as I've told you before, forever and ever in conscious, beautiful, poetic love, enjoying the dickens out of one another's experience all the way through it, from the worst to the best and everywhere in between. That's paradise. That's what we're looking for in this reality. Light and dark seeks this. Light through love, dark through pain. Same difference. The pain is the love. The love is the pain and the ability to endure it and bring yourself forward. What does it take to help us get that? Experience. So continue on. Experience. Shrink away from nothing. But know what you will and won't tolerate. Know what you've been through already so you don't have to repeat it. You see, you're becoming conscious of the cycles in your life. I know I am. And I'm starting not to repeat them. Because I'm finally getting there. And I hope you are too, babies. God, we love you. Angel and I send you the best of everything, don't we, Angel? Huh? Yes, we do. She says, yeah. She's just dreaming us right now. Dreaming us in a beautiful place of being. People, if you don't associate with the animal world, you're missing something. You got to have an animal or two in your life. I don't care if it's cat, dog, cow, horse, whatever, but you got to have some animals in your life, you know. They've domesticated themselves for a reason and purpose. And they're here to teach us some too. And I don't care how callous you've been with them. You don't have to stay that way any longer. You can learn to appreciate the animal the same as you appreciate the being and person that you are. The more you find appreciating in yourself, the more you'll find there, and the greater the gifts then that are shared with you. It's just the way it works. Well, I hope you're having a happy, smiley-faced day, and that everything good keeps coming your way. That's about all that Grandpa has to say here today. So we'll see you real soon, and not on the dark side of the moon, but in the place where there's light and all feels just right. Love you, kiddos. Catch you next time.